an effects for it? No, I'm too young for that shit.
Oh man, you had this little board next to you.
Like
Isolated.
crazy effects like this and shit like that. Very cool.
You make yourself sound like a robot on it. Yeah, you can do all kinds of stuff.
Right. Okay, so believe it or not, we are starting now. I like that cool little intro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the now 5th episode, I believe, of the Xclude with Xclude podcast. Today, the guest on my left is a fellow DJ, fellow friend, a chapter head of the International DJ Cafe here in the Mid-Atlantic area, specifically Dover, Delaware. Hard-working man, just like me. Whenever I have a chance to be out there in the field and or just in the working field or whatever else, and but let me just get down to it. Ladies and gentlemen, DJ Sticks.
What's happening, everybody? How you doing today?
DJ Sticks, what is your real name once again, Steve?
Steve.
Steve, I'll just call you Steve then. Steve Montsch?
Montsch, yes.
Montsch. There we go. That's the proper word for it. But anyway, hey, thank you for being on the podcast.
I appreciate it. It's my honor.
So, how did let's get right into it. How did the whole International DJ Cafe thing start out?
Started out up in Philly with a gentleman named Jonathan Hines, DJ J-Rock. Shout out to J-Rock. Thank you for putting this together. They started it up there, and, you know, I'm a country boy down here in Dover, Delaware. We're a small state. We used to do a thing called Sunday Fun Day at a local bar where it was just a group of us local DJs. We'd get together and just do a set on set for, you know, from noon to midnight, 1 o'clock. You know, it was in a bar. They'd let us do what we wanted to do. And I got a phone call one day from Jonathan talking about, hey, we're out front of this place. Does it have Smithers on the front of the awning? And I'm like, yeah. And I walked to the front door, and there's, I don't know, 10, 15 cars pulled up out front, all with Pennsylvania plates. And I think they had every seat in every car full. They looked like they were coming out the trunk, out of the doors. If they could have came out of the hood, they would have done that too. They came in and asked where they'd sign up to play at, and I looked at them like they were stupid. And Jonathan looked at me, J-Rock looked at me, said, you don't have a sign-up sheet? I said, well, no, it's just normally just us 6. And he then started telling me about, we have this thing called the International DJ Cafe, and we do this throughout the East Coast, you know, up in Philly and Jersey, New York, South Carolina, North Carolina. I think there's one in Kentucky now. There's a new one in Tampa, Florida. There's one in California. And as soon as he started telling me about what it was all about, I was hooked. I was like, hey, I'm in. And so I was going to start a chapter then, but I was moving to Florida for some crazy reason. I decided, hey, let me go to Florida for a little while. And I didn't start the chapter then. Another group of guys started the chapter down in Milford, which is just south of where we're at now. And it went for a good, I think, well, I want to say a year and a half. And the establishment closed up, and they didn't move to another venue. And we've been wanting to start another chapter. And I finally, you know, with a couple other DJs here, shout out to my co-captains, DJ Kid and Slick Styles. We started this chapter back up with the blessing from Jonathan and the other founders. And we've been going for a little over a year now. And, you know, we're just here to keep the culture alive.
Explain the format of the DJ Cafe.
Okay, the format is when it's kind of like a band jam when you get a bunch of musicians together and they just rock out and just play whatever instrument they have. That's kind of the same format here is you get a 10, 15-minute set. Each DJ gets to play whatever he wants to play. You know, when you're in the club or the bar or at a venue or any type of an event that you're getting paid for, normally you have to stick to their guidelines. Either, you know, hey, we're doing all EDM, or hey, no hip hop, or hey, this is a country bar. Here, you get to express yourself. You get to show off, per se. That's what I like to say is you showcase what you can do on the turntables. Let it be a set of 1200s, a controller, or as yourself has been in here and done live.
Yeah. But my little drum machines, my TR8 and my TB3, as well as the controller and whatever else, you know.
So yeah, you get to showcase what your skills are. We go from beginner DJs to advanced DJs. They get to learn. You know, we're here for networking. music. That's why we're all here. It's music.
Yeah.
It brings us together. This my shirt says music. Music saves.
Yeah.
Not only lives but people's insanity. You have a bad day, you listen to a certain type of music, it makes you feel better. Or if you're sad, you listen to a certain type of music, it uplifts you to a better place, to get you out of that funk. So yeah, that's what we do here. We do, we try to raise money to help the chapters out. If we have a fellow DJ that passes away, we try to do fundraisers to help out with the services or stuff like that to help the family out with bills. We had a few fellow DJs pass away this year, so we've done a good amount of charitable events to try to help those families out. So it's not always just about us; it's about our extended family also.
Yeah, about the community, about people who choose to spend their time here, as well as kind of helping each other out in that regard, in that respect. Moving on to the next question. Now, I heard that you're a country boy at heart, as you just said earlier.
That's right.
What led you to hip hop, though?
Well, I started out as a heavy metal artist
fan,
and got me into DJing. My dad always had records, classical music. That's my parents are up in age. I'm
like
not
Beethoven, Bach.
Yep.
Okay.
The Neil Diamond type stuff like that. My dad used to play the records when I was a little kid, and I wanted to go up and touch them, and I pull them things backwards and hear that scratching, and I was like, "Ooh, that's really, really cool." Dad's yelling at me, "Hey, stop doing that! You're gonna mess my records up." And lived out in the Midwest, and back when I was a kid, that was late '70s, early '80s. That was what they listened to out there: the Metallica, Megadeth, Def Leppard, all those kind of groups. And
Gotcha.
I moved out here to the East Coast, thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna be a surfer boy," and all
East Coast surfer. Oh man, I'm not sure that's even a thing around here. I know it is.
It is. It is. You can surf here in Delaware.
Like Cali, though.
Cali is more the surfer board type, but I was thinking, Delaware beach is great. Oh, I'm going to be a surfer, and I got here, and come to find out, it was more of a hip hop culture, and I think my first encounter with hip hop was in probably 6th grade, and we were allowed to bring in music on Fridays to listen to, and everybody bringing in this hip hop stuff, and I'm like, oh man, really? Oh, it's my turn to bring something in? Oh, I'm gonna bring Metallica. And everybody, I had the long hair, heavy metal rocker. Everybody's looking at me like, what are we listening to? And I kind of then got turned on to the hip hop and the culture of music in hip hop. And if you look at hip hop, it stems from all types of music. From when the LL Cool J's and that sampled music. If you follow them and listen to what they've sampled, it comes from older music. A lot of that music they didn't produce themselves back then in the early '80s into the '90s. It was a lot of sampling, and then they created the beat on that sample.
Gotcha.
Of course, you know about that.
Yeah, thing or two.
And it intrigued me how they did that, and I fell in love with the music.
Glad to hear that. I kind of grew up the same way. I wasn't like I didn't grow up listening to techno first. It was rap. Listening to Nas and Dipset, as well as Busta Rhymes, all these other cats. But at the same time, I was listening to like new metal kind of stuff, like Limp Bizkit and Korn
I still
Rage Against the Machine. Yeah, I mean they're still great, and I still listen to them occasionally. But matter of fact, I was listening to Nasamatic earlier today, just to bring me back. Literally one of the best rap albums ever. Period. And with each year that passes, it gets more kind of like historic and kind of like of that era. But then I slowly grew out of that. Well, I don't want to say grow out of it because I'm still listening to it, but I'm kind of further away from that. Then it was EDM, and hearing like Martin Solveig and Calvin Harris, and Alesso. And then from there, as I started to travel, like as I made my way to Amsterdam, then Germany, and then London, I began to hearing more electronics, but in different genres. Like for example, when I got to Amsterdam, yes, they were playing more EDM stuff because Amsterdam Dance Event was there. But you know, the main track there that I was playing that like everywhere was Martin Solveig, "Intoxicated." That was the song that was playing everywhere.
Oh, that's a great track. I
Yeah.
love that track.
It's a catchy little track. But then from there, I went to Germany, and then I got into techno. And, you know, going out to clubs again from Trezor and Berghain. If you listened to the episodes previously, where we covered this, but just to let you guys know. Then from London, listened to drum and bass. That's still going on there, as well as
See, one of my good friends
stuff.
it got me hooked on drum and bass. I didn't know a lot about it. You know, I heard the EDM and all of that, of course, because that's that mainstream
right
out there.
So on my stuff I play.
You get that drum and bass sound. Shout out to
and that's coming back now.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. He used to throw these parties down on the beaches here, you know, out in the middle of nowhere, and play drum and bass, and they'd be resonating. That bass just hits you, and you're just like, wow. Yeah. Like, I want to listen to more of that.
Right. I feel it's a little bit too fast for me, but I'm like, from my experience that I had in London, I'm all ears to it. It's a bit of faster sound, like, you know, anywhere from like 160 to like 170 BPM. So you can't really like move to it, I feel, as much as like techno or house.
Right.
But you're still grooving. As long as everybody's having a good time, regardless of genre, you're having a good time.
That's all that matters.
Yeah,
you know,
atmosphere.
That's what music is for, is to have a good time. Like I said, you know, it takes you puts you in another world. You know, depending on what you're listening to, you can go from, you know, being in a funk, or you had a bad day at work and you go home and doesn't matter what you listen to. Some people go home and listen to classical music. Right. Hell, when I used to leave gigs and, you know, I'm playing down in Dewey Beach, and I would leave the bars, and, you know, you're playing everything from hip-hop, old school hip-hop from the 80s and 90s genres, to EDM, to country, to rock. Heck, you even get to rock mashups where it's an EDM mashup of a rock song. I would listen to jazz on the way home just to bring me back down to a normal level, because of my energy level was so high from the crowd and having so many people around you and dealing with the drunk, as I call them around here because I'm a local, we call them Torons.
Or the day kids.
Yeah.
Starts with a T.
So, you know, they're the ones that come in and invade your hometowns for the weekend and just think they can do and be anybody they want. And, you know, it's a great time, you know, because that's what keeps us, that's what makes me money, is from them guys. So, you know, them guys and girls, whoever they are.
But security has their hands full sometimes.
Yes, they do. They do. But it's just one of them things, you know, you listen to that jazz and it brings you back to the roots.
Yeah. I listen to WRTI.
Okay.
Jazz and Classical Station, 90.9 on Philly radio. And I listen to that every once in a while when I'm coming back, let's say around like, you know, whatever late hour of the night it is, and just to kind of keep me kind of level, just as you were describing, anything from like Coltrane to any other jazz musician or anything like that happens to catch my ear. But I'm really in that moment as I'm driving down back from Philly. I'll listen to anything on that radio station. It could be jazz or classical, whatever I'm kind of feeling, just to lower my standards. Along with my little coffee, I feel I gotta have a little coffee as I'm heading back home, just to keep myself safe, keep me awake.
There you go. I was gonna say, drinking coffee, it keep me awake. It won't bring me back down. I'll be ready to go back and do another party if I drank a cup of coffee that late at night.
It's only a morning thing or a late night thing. Sometimes it used to be evenings, but right now it's just mornings and late nights, and it has to be hot. I'm not the cold coffee kind of person. I can't do
coffee.
Ice
No. Coffee's got to be hot, and even if it
Agreed.
gets to that lukewarm stage, it's like, I don't even want to drink that no more.
Right. What do you listen to now?
Now, my ears are open to everything. You know, I like the indie artists. We have a lot of different artists that are in the area, that local artists, you know, that I like to listen to. We also, you know, new and upcoming artists. You know, we have a big festival right here in Dover coming up soon, FireFly. I'm sure everybody's heard of it if they haven't. Big music festival goes on for 3 days right here. And I like to listen to people that I've never heard of before. So if I see a group that I haven't heard, I'm going to go and listen to them, because that's how you hear new music, new artists, new styles of music. Let it be country. Not a big country fan, but I will listen to country because I have clients that when I go and do a wedding or I go do a special event, because I'm not the DJ that's out every weekend gigging. I've done that, like I said, I'm 41 years old, so I worked 6-7 nights a week DJing on top of working a day job. So it put its toll on me. So now it's more of the corporate events, the weddings, and I only do a few. MMA fights. I've been working for a company.
Interesting.
6 years now. I do all their MMA fights. So it's it's events like that I want to do, and I'm more here to keep the culture alive, get the younger kids involved in it, show them what they can do other than being out on the street running around getting into trouble.
Right, and that's what this DJ Cafe used here is for, and many other chapters within the U.S. It's for you to kind of explore the realm of music, and as well as be in the scene and learn more than just being in your bedroom. Learning how to play with a crowd and within your time period, and learning what to do with that.
And on that, some of these guys that have not played in a venue like we're at right now, you got 20,000 watts of equipment in there.
Who's counting?
So they're used to playing on their headphones and listening to that, and then they get to come in here and play on something like that, and they're just like, wow.
Right. There's levels you have to worry about.
Like,
I can't turn my fader all the way. Oh, really? Can't
I'm
do
in the
that.
red at home.
Adjust my gains.
Yeah, I'm in the red at home. I can't be there here because, you could blow a $5,000 speaker, or an amp or something like that. So, that's what we're here for, is just to help the beginners learn about stuff like that. And it's a good thing. I can't complain. And, and I'm been doing it for 20 years, but I'm still learning from people that have been in the game longer than me.
Right. And from what I'm deciphering for all these commercials, whenever a new politician is getting ready for office, it's like, they might include in their promo our music programs are getting cut in half, or something like that. So it's like, even though you may not have a band in your local school, wherever you happen to be, or at least in the U.S., if you don't have some kind of music program, and you just happen to have a international DJ cafe nearby you, just stop by, say hi.
Yes, please.
If you're of age, grab a drink, say hi, and then take it from there. However the music takes you, I guess.
Right, and DJing, the music can take you anywhere. It's not just one genre of music. Like I said, I'm an open format DJ. I love to play my EDM, as you heard earlier. When I was doing my set.
DJ Detox?
Shout out to my man Detox up in New York. If you ever see him on a festival flyer, you're going to want to check him out for sure.
That was like some bassy house kind of trap kind of stuff?
Yeah. Yes. Kind of like that future house type deal.
Yeah,
a little
exactly.
bit. You can check him out on SoundCloud also.
Boom.
He's Instagram, Facebook, all those type things. Check him out, listen to his music, tell him you heard from me, and it's a good guy. He'd love to meet you if you're out at the festival. He's a very friendly guy. I actually met him here at FireFly. We have an event that goes on that same weekend. It's called Afterfly. Shout out to my man hosting an Afterfly event right here in Dover. That's how I met him. He's got a studio there, and Detox came down from New York and was one of the headliners, and he just blew my mind. Young kid, and what he was doing, he locked himself in the studio for the first night and nobody saw him. I'm like, dude, where's this guy at?
Right.
And he came out and was like, all right, I'm going to try something new. I just put these songs together last night in the studio. I slept on the couch. And he came out and dropped these tracks, and it was just like, wow, you put them together in the last 12 hours. Like, how? I'm not a big producer. I've dibbled and dabbled in it and tried to. As we were talking earlier before the podcast, it's one of them things where you got to watch, you got to learn. You're going to have ups and downs in it, Right. Your first track, you may think, oh, man, that sounds really good. And then 10 years from now, you're going to look back and listen to that and be like, damn, what was I thinking about? Why did I do that?
Right. For me, I'm, I guess, slowly trying to become a producer, I guess. I've done, some tracks with hash down stack. Shout out to you. But like for me, the whole thing behind being a producer, it's like it's very tedious work and
time consuming.
Very time consuming potentially.
Well, that's when you're starting out. It is, and then these younger kids see these new DJs and producers that are just naturally gifted and learn the program really quick because that's the computer savvy.
Right.
And they just throw, boom, here's a track, boom, here's a track, here's a track, here's a track, and it's like, oh wow, it's that easy. Let me go ahead and do that. Well, when you're first starting out, it's not that easy. There's a lot of learning curves on that thing, so you got to pay attention to what you're doing and who's doing it for you.
Right.
You got to have influences too.
For sure.
There's producers out there that have to influence you to make the music you want to hear.
Yeah.
And that's where your music will come from. Your influences, let it be a Tiesto or a Marshmello or Martin Gruex or any of them guys that are doing that stuff every day.
Yeah.
You got to have an influence, and your tracks might sound similar to theirs, but that's because they influence you to make that track.
Right. And just another thing, just as well, right now we're outside of Allure nightclub on the patio, so if you hear any kind of background noise or any wind noise, forgive us. It's a little bit of a windy day, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the audio as much. And right now it's a nice little Saturday, a little bit on the cloudy side.
You're a day behind, brother. It's Sunday.
It's Sunday? Oh, yeah, let me look at my watch. Forgive me.
You must have had a late night last night.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that's all right.
All right, it's Sunday. Sunday afternoon, going to become Monday soon.
And speaking of Sundays, we're here, if you're in this area and you want to come by, we're here every last Sunday of the month doing the International DJ Cafe, and it is open to kids. So, if you have a son or a daughter, or even if you want to come out and try to learn to DJ, we're here to help you. If you're thinking about buying equipment, we can steer you in the right way of what you can get. You don't have to go out and buy the most expensive piece of equipment out there.
Right, but in case you do want to buy some expensive, equipment, I'm selling my Denon X1800 mixer.
Oh, there you
go. So just letting you know. But go ahead.
You can start out with the little controllers. I like my first. Now I'm going old school because I'm old.
What, Vestax?
No, I actually bought my first set of tables were 1200s.
Okay.
Because back then it was records.
Yeah.
You had to learn how to listen to the song and match it up with the next one and read the BPM on the record to do that. I had bought 2 of those, and back then that's when Radio Shack was still available.
Oh, man. Yep.
A realistic mixer.
Yep.
It took, I want to say, D batteries or something because they didn't sell the power inverter for it yet.
So DJ Biz had one too.
Yep. You had to have, that was the way you started. If you didn't back then, there wasn't a lot of mixers out there.
Right.
So you used what you had. I remember plugging mine into people's. Now we're going back into when I was in high school when I first started going out into public and DJing. You would go and plug your DJ equipment into whoever's house party it was to their parents' house system. Oh, let me unplug that, and I can plug these RCAs into it, and I can go through it. And you're jamming through their, this old school house system. And man, I've blown, I don't know how many parents' systems because, it just gets louder and louder because more people are there. But shout out to the people that from high school that used to let me rock their parties and got me into DJing. It was, without doing stuff like that, I probably would have never got back into it because, college, I got out of high school and it was like, oh, you got to do something with your life. And
right.
Wasn't making a living off of DJing yet, and I made the worst mistake of my life and sold all my records.
Oh, no.
That I had worked, every allowance that my parents gave me, they took me to the local record store, and I would always buy records.
Yeah, we got MP3s and WAV files now.
Yeah,
but still,
I could just go on a computer and buy them.
I know.
Join a record pool and I could get that download,
right.
and then you go to sleep and they're there the next day. No, I literally had to go to the record store
Yeah.
and dig for records.
And that digital versus vinyl, I don't want to say it's like a battle, but whenever I go into a record store, I can I'm going through records. If they happen to have a set of turntables available, I can hopefully listen to that record. But it's like at the same time, if I find anything that catches my ear, it's like I can just buy this on Beatport. I can buy this on Google Music. I can buy this on iTunes. So it's
Yeah,
like
but the sound of a record, though, there's nothing that can beat that sound. That's why, I had a wall that in my bedroom that was 8 foot. Ceilings are 8 foot tall, so it was 8 foot wide and 8 foot tall. And I just started zip tying milk crates together and filling those milk crates. I'd fill one, I'd get another one, and milk crates fit a 12-inch record. For some of you younger guys that are listening to this, you might not know about that, but I remember having to carry in 6, 8, 10, 12 crates of records to go do a party because, man, I don't know what I'm going to have to play. So let me put this crate together and put this crate together, and I'm going to take all this stuff with me. You might only play 2 crates, but you got to make sure you got enough music to do the party.
Yep. Or like if somebody requests something kind of out of the wild that you
got to have it.
Yeah, if you want to play it.
Right.
To satisfy that party goal or whatever.
A lot of times it's and the same thing now. You get the off the wall requests. You might be playing
some stupid shit. You might not even make sense with your set, but
But in the long run, that customer is there spending money, which in turns is how you're going to get paid. So when I was gigging all the time, doing all these DJs gigs and making a living off of it to support my family, I would make sure that I would get their record, their track played for them. It wouldn't be right away, and I would let them know, hey, listen, I'm nowhere near that, but give me a little bit of time, and I'll get to it. It might not be in 10 minutes, might not be in an hour, but sometime tonight you will hear your track if you stick around. I promise you that. And that gives them an incentive to stay there. Oh, he's going to play my track.
Right.
You don't get the distraught customer like, oh, you said you were going to play it. Well, it didn't fit in. A lot of DJs give that excuse. Oh, it didn't fit in my set.
Mm-hmm.
As an open format DJ, I don't sit there and say, okay, I'm going to go work this club tonight, and these are the tracks I'm going to play. I just pick and choose when I get there. I read the crowd. I feel out what, I get there early. A lot of DJs get there, with me, I didn't have the plug and play. A lot of gigs were bring my own system, bring my own tables, set everything up. Well, I would make sure I was there early enough to be able to look and see what the crowd was before I got there, and did that way I could see them. You know what I mean? Oh, hey, they're feeling this country music. Let me go ahead and do some country mixes, so I can keep these people here. Because if the customers leave, the venue's not making any money.
Right.
Then in turn, it looks bad on you because, well, you drove everybody away. We're not making no money, so we're not going to pay you tonight.
Right.
Well, then you just spent your last 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever, playing for free.
Yep.
I'm not trying to do that.
Sometimes though, I've been out where there's somebody who wants to put a request in, okay, and let's say 10, 15 minutes down the line, you said you play it, but they're nowhere to be found.
Oh, I've had that happen.
Oh yeah.
You get
so sad.
Not saying women, you're always the drunk ones, but I get the
nope. We're not pointing any fingers.
You get that drunk customer that play my song. Yeah, I'll get it on for you. Give me a few minutes, and then you 10, 15 minutes later, not even that sometimes, and you go to play it, and you're looking for that customer like, oh, they said they're gonna be out on the dance floor.
Yep,
they're gone. Boom. It's like I just worked my way to get to as we do. You got to work to the BPM to get it, unless you got a transition to get you down to it, so you can make it work.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gone. You're like, well, man, I was way up here in the hundreds. Now I'm down in the 70s, and all right, let me get back up. Let me find this transition and bring this party back up and get the people back on the dance floor. But another thing is with that is you give the dance floor a break. I learned that the hard way. Working in a venue, I packed the dance floor all night long. To us, that's great. Everybody's dancing. They're having a great time. But guess what? They're not going to the bar and spending money on the drinks. Right. So guess what? the bar's not making no money, or the venue's not making no
Right.
money. So in turns, you're still not going to get paid. I mean, we got paid, but
maybe they didn't, or not as enough as they normally would.
Exactly.
On any other night.
You got to look at it as you got to make the venue money also, no matter where you're at. You know, you break it down so everybody's let's say you're doing an old school hip hop set. Everybody's on the dance floor, right? They're loving that old school. Well, then you just throw in that one song where people are going to be like, what? Oh, man, I'm going to the bar.
I got to go on the floor.
Let me get off this dance floor. I'm going to the bar, go get a drink. Guess what? They just went and bought a $6 drink. 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 people just went and bought that $6 drink. Guess what? Now you're making the bar some money. So you don't have to worry about that. And I learned that the hard way. Because the venue came up, hey, this is what our sales are normally, and this is what our sales were tonight. We got to pick that up. We're going to book you again next Friday. Let's see how you do. And if you can't get our sales back to where they normally are, we're going to have to let you go and get somebody else in.
Right. And it's kind of sad because, like, at the same time, it's, for the places that I've been, DJing is becoming, more than a hobby. If you could take it far enough, it's going to be a career for you. And I don't want to say it, but everybody's replaceable. However, I feel everybody's just special in that same aspect because we all are a little bit different, and that's what makes us us.
Every DJ is different, and I agree with you there. But we are replaceable because the market is so flooded with DJs now, and it's not. How can I put this so I'm not going to make
eloquently?
It's so flooded that people they can just pick and choose. Oh, well, we're paying you, let's say, $300 for 3 hours, but Johnny Joe over here is going to do it for $150. And the people aren't coming to see the DJ; they're coming to the venue.
Right.
Because especially around this area, we don't have the nightclubs and stuff like in the cities. So you got to have both. You got to have a good rapport with the customers, so they know when they come in that bar, oh, you're DJing, you're going to play music that they're going to like. One, the drinks are good too because they know the bar, and they're going to have a good time. They're not going to have any drama.
Right. And I don't, and having that, that drama-free environment, having that kind of respect, is something that I feel sometimes clubs hit and miss. And, some clubs get it, some clubs don't, where they have that kind of respect policy.
It's not even clubs anymore now, though. You know what I mean? Look at the Roots thing yesterday.
Oh, yeah, the Roots picnic.
The Roots picnic yesterday. They had, what was it? I just read it this morning, too. I was half asleep, though. They had a big fight. And
oh, really?
Somebody said there was a shooting, so people got scared and started running around and all that kind of stuff. So,
wow.
It doesn't just happen at nightclubs or bars. It happens. It's everywhere. I mean, look at what just happened in Virginia Beach. We're having all these mass shootings and stuff.
I'm looking at that flag over there in the distance. There's a Home Depot right next to us. It's at half mass. It's half staff.
The hotel. Everything is at half staff because of that. And shout out to the families that lost a family member this weekend down there. It's scary because you never know where you could be at and something like that happen. We could walk in that Home Depot right now to go get, we need an extension cord for tonight.
Right. Something simple.
Distraught customer comes in and shoots the place up. I mean, it's going to happen anywhere.
Yeah.
It's a shame that we're starting to live in that time of age where we have to worry about
where
that.
It's normal.
When we're
sadly.
in the U.S. of A. This is America. We shouldn't have to worry about a fellow American shooting up a public place.
Right.
I could see if we
God
were,
forbid.
somewhere else, other countries that, it happens all the time. But, it's that day of age where you got to start looking over your shoulder, It's kind of scary.
There's some sirens going off in the distance. But anyway, FireFly. How many times have you been there? What's your favorite act? Any stories? I've been there maybe like once or twice.
I've been to FireFly every year. My favorite act? I mean, I couldn't pick a favorite act because
that's fun. No,
it's so diverse music, which shout out. I know Red Frog doesn't. From what I'm hearing, Red Frog isn't promoting it anymore. I think it's another company. I think Coachella is promoting it this year. As from what I heard from the grapevine, I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that. Don't quote me on it. I don't want nobody coming out and yelling at me. But they did such a great job making it a diverse program of music. You know, off the top of my head, Jazzy Jeff was there last year.
Oh, man.
God, amazing set. I mean, I've never seen him live, but when I saw him there, it was amazing. Chainsmokers, I saw them there.
He lives somewhere in Jay-Z. Jeff lives somewhere in Middletown, I think.
We won't say he lives in Delaware. We'll put it
somewhere
that way.
in Delaware.
Yeah,
there we go.
He definitely lives local in Delaware. Let's see, who else have I seen? I saw Snoop Dogg there. You know, taking it back, Busta Rhymes.
Was he as Snoop Lion or was he Snoop Dogg? Yeah, I'm not sure
he was Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
Yeah,
for sure.
It was. He came out on the stage, and you couldn't see. It looked like the mist of the abyss came across the crowd. To put it, you know, shout out to Snoop Dogg, man. That was a dope show. Busta Rhymes was there. Another dope show.
Was T-Pain there? T-Pain was there like 2 years ago or something like that.
Yep.
Still doing it.
Eminem was there last year. It was a pretty good show. You know, it's I'm a music lover of everything, so I just like to venture around. You know, I might catch a little bit of this one, I catch a little bit of that one. You know, catch out the DJs because a lot of time there's a local DJ playing there in the headphone party. So they do.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
the silent disco.
The silent disco is awesome. I love the silent disco because you know there's no music playing and the guy, the couple standing next to you is dancing crazy and you're dancing to something completely different, and it's like, hold on, what are they listening to? Let me change channel. And you're like, oh wow, yeah. So it's it's good times out there, at the Woodlands. It's kind of like a Woodstock, Everybody's there to enjoy music. It's like, all right, hey, we're here to party, but we're not here to have no drama. And
right, it's 3 days of that just as well.
Or
is it 3 or 5?
It was 4. It started out as 3, went to 4, and they just dropped it back down to 3 now. And that's an ugly-ass bird.
Yeah, there's some like condors around here. They're like scavenging whatever food is over at the trash can. I think they should close that, but we're here now. As far as being at FireFly, I've been there I think once or twice. I saw Arctic Monkeys.
Awesome.
Yes, saw them. That was awesome. I did not see Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Their show was pretty good.
Yeah,
I did catch that.
What I heard. Paul McCartney.
Awesome.
Really?
I mean, granted, he's like 100 years old.
Regardless,
shout out to Paul McCartney though. But I mean, I grew up on that type of music. When I knew he was going to be there, I had to catch his set, and it was a great show. You could tell he was a lot older, and of course, when you go to a live music event, it never sounds like what it's supposed to. Like you hear it on the CDs or the tapes or the vinyl.
Live.
It's live. They are singing live. They're not in the studio where you have all the effects and everything else to make them sound perfect. They're like, hey, here you go.
There's no auto-tune. There's no auto-tune here.
No auto-tune at all. Now, then you get the artists that, there's a couple that I've noticed that lip-synced, which if you're doing a show like that, I don't want you lip-syncing.
Right. I paid to see
I paid
you.
Good money, a ticket for that. Let's see. I haven't paid a full price for a ticket in a long time.
Regardless, you don't have to name any names or anything like that.
I'm not going to name names, but you're paying let's say $400 for the weekend.
That's about right.
That's a good amount of money. You don't want to see somebody lip syncing.
Yeah, and that's just for tickets. It's not including
that's not including your camping, the food,
exactly.
Your drinks. You're spending $5, $6, $7 a beer or a drink or whatever. A bottle of water. You gotta. Sorry, my wife is texting me. She's worried about this weather coming.
I can hear the wind chimes. I think through the microphone.
Yeah,
it's understandable though.
You gotta keep the wife happy.
That's right.
So
happy wife, happy life.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, man, FireFly is just an amazing time. Kind of makes me think about Woodstock, and I'm kind of a hippie guy like that, I guess you could say. I wish I was alive to go to Woodstock to see those groups playing there.
Well, they had. Did they still have the free arcade inside of FireFly? That one tent. I think that was the most
Not
amazing
last
shit.
year. They did not.
Oh,
They did now. Andrew Hughes. Shout out to Andrew Hughes,
Shout out.
another DJ here local. He linked up with Dogfish Head because they had a Dogfish Head tent, which is a beer, local beer company.
Local beer.
Of course, they
Sequence
just
Ale. That's my beer.
they just they
Boom.
you know they just merged with
Whoa, another
Sam Adams. Is it Sam Adams?
Samuel Adams.
I think so.
Victory. I don't know.
Boston
Lager.
No, they're
I
at
don't
the
know.
brewery up in Boston. I want to say Sam Adams. I'm pretty sure that's who it was.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but
Okay.
they just merged with them, and
Interesting.
they used to put Andrew DJ'd in the Dogfish Head tent.
Gotcha.
So, which was really cool because it was kind of like a, hey, here's the DJ on this side,
Right.
and then over here is, hey, would you like to try to DJ?
Exactly.
It's kind of like what we do here at the cafe, but you
Gotcha.
don't get as much time.
Huh.
You know, you got a little, hey, this is how we do it. Oh, okay, cool. See you later. Bye.
Right.
But then last year when I was there, they had vinyl for sale.
Wow.
Yeah, and record players, which was really cool, you know, because vinyl's making a comeback.
I like that idea more than an arcade. Actually, I think that's more profitable.
It was
potentially.
cool. You know, they had different style of, vintage style.
Still, regardless, having that sound there is just.
It was cool.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, they're selling vinyl.
And I would imagine you can maybe just chill out in the hammocks, like
Well,
for
they
a
had
little
it
bit,
in
and then
the
go
tent.
back into the tent and
Yep.
kind of work your way around.
Yep.
FireFly all the several stages, kind of like
What's
have
it,
a
like
rhythm.
6
kind of thing.
stages out there now.
I think so.
The headphone party, then.
Oh man, that headphone party! It's like when you take off those headphones, it's like, why am I here? It sounds so strange.
Everybody's dancing, and
yeah,
you're just
it's like he's bopping, but you like
all right,
take him off.
all right, I'm gonna go
Why am I
somewhere else
here?
now. And I mean, another cool thing that they got out there is they have these big.
Did this still charge for the water, like the camel?
No,
that's free. That's
they
free.
got
Forgive
the
me.
filling stations.
The
now.
filling stations.
Yep.
I'm glad
I
still
mean, you
have
can
that.
still buy your bottled water.
Right.
They actually now they've had them for a while. They have these big. So you remember the old record players where they had the big megaphone on it, so
Yes.
the sound would come out.
Yes.
So they built some of those megaphones.
Yeah, like handmade, I would imagine.
Yeah, they're huge though. They're like 9 feet tall,
No shit.
and they sit facing the stages, but they're in the woods. But guess what it does? It picks up that sound coming from this, like, so one's pointing south and one's pointing north and whatever direction the stages are
Okay.
at. And it actually picks up the sound from that stage inside of that megaphone so you can hear it.
Interesting.
It's, dude,
from a distance.
from a distance. So, you can't even see the stage and you can barely hear the music. But once you get inside of this thing and people are laid out in it,
Of course, yeah, they're relaxing.
and
they're chilling.
relaxing because it's shaded,
Right.
it's in the woods, but they can still hear their artist playing,
Yeah.
or whoever's playing on
From
stage.
afar.
It's just a good time, My wife is not a big festival person, but she enjoys going with me,
Gotcha. I'm not a big festival person either. I'm more of a club kind of guy. However, if this year hopefully is profitable for me, hopefully it is. But if I get a chance, I want to go to Time Warp. That's where everybody's looking at right now, because a lot of my friends are coming back from Detroit for Movement Festival, and that was a blast. I'm seeing all the photos and all the music, from everybody from let's see, Anna V to Team 100 to let's see, I think forgive me, I'm skipping names. I'm trying to think of all these names. Nastia was there.
It's hard to remember how many people were at a festival.
Right. I mean, with all the 5 stages, it's just as elaborate as any other kind of festival these days.
There's probably 100 artists playing at FireFly this year. I mean, normally, like I said, last year was 4 days, so you had Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Like,
with Movement, it was just 2 days. It was basically 2 or 3 days. That was it.
but still, 2 or 3 days of music. I mean,
Yeah.
there's
Not including the after parties, but still,
You
I understand.
got
It's
so
a lot.
many
It's too
people
many to go
coming.
to.
It's just like you got to make a list of who do I definitely want to see, who would I like to see.
Exactly. You gotta
and
pick and choose.
who. Nah, I don't want to see them. But see, when I go to the festivals, like there's the ones that I have to see. Like last year, Jazzy Jeff was there.
Yep.
I had to see Jazzy Jeff.
Yes.
Had to. I got another story to tell you too about DJ. We'll get to that in a second. You'll like this one. So I made my list of who I want to see on the app. Oh, I want to see this one. I want to see this one. Then you get there, and the people put up on their Spotify's and stuff. They make a FireFly list and of music of the artists that are playing, and you start listening to these people that you never heard of, and you're like, ooh, that's really cool. I want to hear them live.
Yeah.
And then you go check them out, and it's just like, oh, I like their stuff. I mean, I got to go home. When I get home, pull out my computer and start, I'm going to follow them, and I'm going to get their music. So that's what I like about it. You get to hear the different stuff.
Yeah, it's the same thing for me. Like, whatever artist I'm listening to on Boiler Room or on Sorrel, that's interesting, that have a name I never heard of, or if for friends are going to a concert, let's say, of whomever artist that catches attention that's still kind of electronically based, whether they play techno or house or whatever, then I'm suddenly interested in it. Like, for example, I know tomorrow Lee Fanke, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Lee Fanke, he's going to be tomorrow playing in New York on the Battleship.
Oh, nice.
Because I guess the first time when they did Sorrel with Masioplex, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. Forgive me, I'm butchering all these names, but
that's what we do. We just butcher names.
We butcher names. We put people down all the damn time. But regardless, Masioplex, when he was over in New York, he played on this I think ferry ship or something like that, and like you could still see the video. It was jam packed. It was raining. People had a bunch of ponchos on, but they were just soaking up. They were just enjoying it, enjoying his set.
So I was doing a festival here in Dover. It was called R2 Hop 2, which is a little one-day festival with local bands, and we had, talking about people in the rain and ponchos, so there's a quick little story. We had pouring rain, but we're still out there playing. We're under the covered, stage. Bands are like, yeah, we're playing. We're here. We're playing. Cool. All right. I'm up there DJing. I'm talking to the crowd. Everybody's tucked under their umbrellas, under their ponchos, and there's a lady. God bless her. And I announced it to the crowd. She's in a wheelchair, laid back, one of the mobilized wheelchairs because she was handicapped, sitting in front of the stage, nothing covering her from the rain, listening to the music without a care in the world.
Yep.
That made my day. Like, I didn't care if I had a $300 microphone in my hand. I got off the stage. I walked out there, and I talked to her. I said, ma'am, what's your name? Told me her name, and I forget it. This has been a couple of years, but told me her name. I sat in there and talked with her for a few minutes. Are you enjoying your time? Yes, I am. Is there anything I could get for you? Nope. All I need to do is sit here and listen to the music.
Wow.
That makes this rain go away. I brought tears to my eyes because, like I was saying earlier, music takes you to a place that you don't worry about your fears or your worries or anything like that. And being this woman's, in a handicapped chair, can't get up and walk and get under a tent. She's just sitting there, loving it, getting drenched, or pouring rain, still having a great time listening to the music.
God bless her, wherever she is now. Have you ever been to, so you were in, the Philly scene for a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever been, I always ask this question. I think this is going to be like a go-to question for now on for the rest of these podcasts. Do you have any memory of shampoo?
Oh,
okay.
Boy, shampoo.
Name one. Okay.
It's
like the staple. If you haven't been to shampoo, it's like you haven't been to Philly. Or what was your favorite thing about it? Amongst all the favorite things that you have.
We'll just say the good times that I had there with the extracurricular activities I did when I was younger.
Gotcha.
Shampoo was a great venue.
It's a spot.
It put a smile on my face when you said that. And for some reason, I knew you were going to ask me that. When you said the Philly scene, I was like, he's going to ask about shampoo. Man, shampoo was just awesome. That's when I first started getting into the EDM scene. And it was the first, real EDM show that I went to. But awesome.
Yeah. I remember I got into the scene when they were playing hip hop at the time. They weren't playing house. Robbie Trunco was one of the, I believe, the resident DJs there. I want to interview him because I'm buddies with him just as well.
I bet that's going to be a good interview.
Yeah, I hope so. If one day that ever comes to fruition. And I remember DJ Biz talking about the times that he had there. And there was this one track that Robbie would always fucking play. I think like every Saturday or every Friday night. And when he played it, it's like, oh shit, everything turned on.
Oh yeah,
everything turned up, and
it's like
shit got wild.
I'm trying to think of the other club.
For better or for worse.
There was a club that was up off of 202, just over the PA Delaware border, and I can't remember the name of the club. Looked like you walk in, it had a mirrored pyramid as you walk through, and a spaceship up over top of the dance floor.
Well, I would not remember that club.
No, it was probably before your time.
Okay.
This is when I had my fake ID days.
There you go.
Yeah, that was my younger days too. But man, it was an awesome club there too. And if I remember it, I'll have to text you so you can mention it. But good times there too. But it's just the music scene it's just love. You know, music is love.
Mm-hmm. Music is kind of like however you want it to be, to a degree. It could be, with every different genre that there is. I don't want to overemphasize it, or you get the idea. I mean, music is water.
Exactly.
To that degree, everybody has some kind of persona or something kind of attached to that. Now, the next question I have to ask is, I asked this in the last podcast with Hesh, and he wasn't too big. Well, he's never been to this record store. He told me about I believe Creek Records, about how they sell in Philly, kind of like house and like underground kind of stuff, more than I'm into. But with all the hip hop guys and rap guys, I'm hearing this name called Armends.
Oh, Armends, man, that was the spot, dude.
Please bring that to light. I have no idea what that was about, but I've heard the name.
Armends they had a little bit of everything in there for DJing. Turntables, needles, slip mats. They even did repairs there. They had speakers.
Really?
They had speakers. They had car stereos. They had car speakers. If you needed something audio, Armends was the place to go.
That was the spot.
That was the spot. You needed a record, you'd go to Armends to find. You could find it, or he would find it for you and get it for you.
Was there a community surrounding Armends? Like if you're like let's say you're searching for records, could you find like the local DJ at this local club and kind of talk to him?
You could,
or whatever.
You could, because a lot of people dug. They went record digging there.
Okay,
Yeah, so it was really cool because my younger days, that was one of the first places, going to Philly when I was younger. I didn't really know, you go somewhere you don't know how to get around that town. And hey, I'm going to Philly today. I'm going to find this Armends, and that's before Google and all that.
Yeah.
I'm showing my age. So, you just drive up and you start asking people, hey man, where's Armends at? Oh, it's on this street. Oh, where's that street at? I'm not from here. Oh, you got to go this way and make a left and make a right and go down 3 blocks. Took me like half the day to find it, man, and they were about to close, and I come running up to the door. He's like, oh, man, you only got a couple minutes. I said, dude, I just want to come in. I've never been here before, but now I know where it's at. I can come back, and it was just like a candy store for DJs,
About what time period did that place close down? Do you happen to know why? Or what time era did they open up?
I think the digital age started taking over your record stores,
Makes sense.
Like you said, vinyl crashed, but I can go on the internet and buy any song that I want for 99 cents from iTunes up to $3 from one of our DJ pools, you know, or one that you could pay for music per track.
Right.
Or, like I said, you find a DJ pool where you pay monthly fees. So I think that's what, and I'm not really sure why they closed down because they had a good following. A lot of people went there.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Armends, man. They were awesome. I mean, they kept me going. If I needed needles, in Delaware, there wasn't nowhere really to buy turntable needles down this way. So you were driving to the city.
Yes. I think because, from what I'm hearing, I forget what was the source from where I heard this from, but I believe sales of records are skyrocketing, or they maybe plateau a little bit. But regardless, they're selling now.
They are selling now.
But you don't see as many record labels, I feel, pumping them out.
Well, let me rephrase. Yeah, let me cut you off there.
Go.
FYI, the record.
I remember that.
They're still around. We got right here in the Dover Mall.
It's probably the only one left.
It's probably the only. But guess what? So Christmas time, I'm going out with the wife. We're going Christmas shopping for our kids.
Yep.
I passed by. We're walking down to the next big chain store to get something for our kids. I forget what it was. Whatever. Blase blah. But I always look into a record store just to see what it, what's the big thing. A lot of times it's just the shirts and the keychains and the CDs.
And that's a way to support, to a degree.
but man, I want to see music in a music store.
Yep.
And I look back, the store's deeper, and you look back and it caught my eye. Yo, those are records on that back wall.
Yeah.
No way, they're selling records in here again? I got to go in and check it out.
Right. Amongst all the other stuff that they also
sell.
saw that wasn't
Board
really
games and stuff like
video
that.
games and whatever.
But they had a wide variety of records, from old school hip hop to newer stuff.
Yep.
And, of course, as we were talking earlier, I had that 8-foot by 8-foot wall of records. I sold all my records, unfortunately, because when I decided I wanted to go to college, I was at that age where I had to pay to go to college. And the only way for me to make enough money to pay for my first semester was to sell my records. So I sold my records and my turntables all as a package deal, and I made enough money to pay for my whole first year of college. But I kicked myself in the butt for selling all those records because it's hard to find them now. I mean, I'm getting my collection back, but speaking of which, to get my collection back, I was getting ready to tell you this story. Is so Smirnoff did the Masters of the Mix. Remember that show that they did?
Yeah, I remember that.
A year
it was on VH1?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
And so Scratch from EPMD, DJ Scratch.
Yep.
He won that this year. So Smirnoff decided to say, hey, we're going to put you on tour to go put on a Scratch clinic.
Gotcha.
It happened in D.C., was the closest one to us. I think they might have did one in New York. But
okay.
I flipping through Twitter one day and saw it, and it was like, oh, I want to be involved. It was late sign up. I DM'd or whatever it is on Twitter it's called, sent the promoter a message, hey, listen, I'm coming from Delaware. I missed the sign up, but I really want to come to this event. Any way for me to sign up? Here's my phone number, call me. Here's my email, send me email. Phone rings with this DC number, and I'm like, who the heck is this? So I answer it. Oh, this is so-and-so from the production company for this DJ Scratch event. You're coming from Delaware? And I'm like, yeah. And you want to come to this? Yes, I want to be there. Like, that's DJ Scratch from EPMD.
Right.
I'm going to learn something from him? Oh, I want to be there. Okay, we're going to put you on the list. Sweet. So I took the Friday night off of my gig, and I drove to D.C. Well, from here to D.C. is about 2.5 hours. I get over there. Well, when you get to the major cities, there's no public bathrooms really anywhere. If you want to use the bathroom, you got to buy something to be able to use their bathroom. I got to use the bathroom. I'm like, so I text the promoter. I said, look, I need to come in and use the bathroom. I'll come right back out. She's like, oh, no, you just drove 2.5, 3 hours to get here. Come on in. DJ Scratch will be here in a few minutes. You can sit down and talk with him. I can do what?
Wow.
Could
you say that again?
I got to sit down with DJ Scratch. Shout out to DJ Scratch. Very humble dude. I got to sit down and talk to him about DJing for about 45 minutes before they opened the doors to the public. I have to say that's probably one of my highlights of my life. Other than open for Bubba Sparks when he was here in Delaware, I opened for him at an event, and it was awesome too. But just to sit down and talk with this guy about DJing, and it was an honor, because I grew up listening to EPMD and Eazy-E and Wu-Tang and all that. So that was great to just sit there and talk with him, and he kind of gave you pointers on how to keep going in the business and, and all that. And then great honor again, I got to go record digging with him the next day. So I drove back to Delaware.
Did you get some like crazy cuts or like some?
Oh yeah. It was nice because you would see what he was looking at.
Right. It's like, oh.
And he's like, oh, I'm gonna get that. And then you're looking right behind him like, is there another one? you want to you kind of ride that coattail like, oh, he bought that. Oh, I got to get that track.
Get that track too.
Let me get that on vinyl. So yeah, shout out to him, man. He the big influence in why I DJ.
Was Scratch DJ Academy around when you were visiting DJ Scratch?
No.
If you ever heard about that?
Yes, I did. I think it had just started.
Okay.
Actually, I think it was just in the works of coming up.
I was really, really considering that, but by the time I actually had scrambled some money together, they were closed.
Yeah.
They
didn't last very long.
They didn't last long. Shout out to Mike Nice, by the way. You were one of the instructors who were at DJ Academy, and
now,
props to you.
Don't they still have one in New York though?
I think they do, but from where we're at now to New York,
that's a drive.
Yeah, and to do it for anywhere from I think 3 months to 6 months. That's a stretch.
I'm not driving that long.
I'm not driving that long.
Now,
I'm not.
Shout out to our DJs here in the cafe because they'll help you learn how to scratch. DJ Shorty T, shout out to him. He's a Green Room is his studio. Syndicated radio DJ, awesome dude. You know, he will help you out. You know, if you're willing to learn and have the ambition to learn to do it, he's going to help you to get to where you need to be and teach you the ropes. So shout out to him. Shout out to Rated R too, man. He's been helpful in my career, teaching me, you know, just talking to me. I've only met him in person a few times and seen him a few times in person, but I've talked to him on the phone. I've you know, talked to him on over, you know, social media platforms, and you know, if there's like he's played tracks on the radio and been like, dude, where can I get that? Oh, you can't. Man, well, how can I get it? What can I do to get that track? Oh, well, you know, I can't give it to you. But I can understand that. You know, there's certain tracks that you just can't give away, like the stuff I was playing earlier. Right. You know, that's
secret stuff.
You know, that's that secret squirrel track that, you know, hey, you're gonna have to go digging for that.
Right.
I found it. You're gonna have to go find it.
Exactly. Are you thinking about going to the DJ Expo this year? Atlantic City DJ Expo.
You know,
I'm debating.
As us as the International DJ Cafe, we were trying to set up a booth this year. Of course, that's what I'm all about is the promotion of the cafe and keeping the culture alive. Our founders were talking about going there, but the cost of a booth is something like $2,500 for the weekend.
Yeah.
You know, and our founders have been paying a lot of money out of pocket to keep this going. So they, I don't know if I'm going to go this year or not. You know, I haven't made it in the last couple of years just because I'm not in the scene as much as I was.
Gotcha.
And, you know, you learn a lot about the new equipment and that, but the last time I went, it was more geared toward the wedding DJs.
Gotcha.
You know, you had the booth set up. Oh, you can buy this lapel and this vest here and
photo booths, maybe.
Yeah, the photo booths. Which shout out to the photo booth DJs. You know, what I mean, that's a great addition to put into your business because if you can book a photo booth while you're DJing, guess what? You're making double income.
For me, not having a wedding DJ background, I would like to think that's a great thing to have in your back pocket.
Man, if I was doing more weddings than, you know, just a couple that I do a year, and I'm very selective of the weddings that I'm doing.
Gotcha.
Just because.
Kinda have to be.
Well, you don't have to be. You know, you. With me, I am because I'm not trying to be out every weekend away from my family. I've got 3 kids, a beautiful wife at home. And shout out to them for, you know, especially my wife for allowing me to keep in the business that I'm in, you know, DJing. It's very hard on a relationship, you know. You're in a club 3-4 nights a week setting, you know, you got these drunk girls go, oh, the DJ, I'm not, no, get away from me. You know, you see that picture on Facebook where, no, I don't take requests, but with the DJ's hand on her forehead.
I can imagine it.
You know, that's me. I'll push you away. No, that's not me. I'm not the DJ where, oh, hey, girl, I'm going to go home with you.
Right.
No, man, I got a beautiful wife, 3 kids. I'm going home to my wife. There ain't nothing that you can give me or do for me that my wife doesn't do already.
Bam.
You know?
Going back to the DJ Expo, I forget who said this to me. He's a local DJ here in Delaware, but he goes there not really for the equipment, not really for like the showcases or what this company has to offer now. He just goes there to network.
That's a great thing to do. I mean,
he's saying hi.
DJs, you got to network, man. You can't just try to do it on your own. If you're not out networking it, you're not going to make it. You know, that's another reason for the DJ Cafe is networking. Artists.
There you
go. A shout out to
producers,
all the artists,
promoters.
and promoters, anybody. This is where you should be. You should come to the cafes because this is a good place to network because you've got so many DJs that have different styles that are in different areas that then if you're doing hey, I got this event, damn, I can't find a DJ. Well, guess what? You come to the cafe, you just met 20 or 30 different DJs. You get their information.
Boom.
Oh, okay, you're booked. All right, let me call this one. Oh, you can do it? What's it going to cost? Oh, okay, cool. You're booked. Boom. Artists, bring your music to us. You know, especially indie artists. The best way to get your music out is through the DJ. Now, to touch base on that, don't show up to my gig and say, hey, man, play my track while I'm in the middle of a gig. You know what I'm going to do with your CD? I'm going to throw it in the trash.
Boom.
Not trying to sound ignorant or nasty about it, but
the wrong way to do it, though.
That's the wrong way to do it. First off, if you're going to come up to me while I'm at a gig, you should figure out what I'm drinking. Before you even come talk to me about your music, you should go ahead and go get me a beer. Then bring that with you and say, hey, man, I'm so-and-so. I'm a local artist. Here's my CD. If you get a chance, listen to it. Oh, by the way, here's a beer for you. Now, cool. You didn't come try to push it on me and get me to play it right away or what not. I'd rather listen to it and go from there. And I'm always open to listen to indie artists, you know, independent artists around the area, and give them feedback. You know, we had a thing here last month at our cafe called the Round Table, which was more geared toward artists. We had a few show up. Shout out to them artists that showed up. And I forget what the names because there was, you know, I met too many people that day. But they were very humbled when they were here because it was more geared towards them to get their music to us, you know. So they were, hey, I'm Jim Bob, and I'm an artist, and I'd really like you to listen to my tracks. There was one guy, he stands out. He was from Philly, if I remember correctly. He was an R&B singer. Now, you know R&B is not a big thing right now. Bro, his tracks were fire.
Really?
He had, I'm not going to say no names, but there was 2 big DJs sitting out on this patio where we're at right now, listen to his tracks right then and there, and we're like, yo, where can I download them? Yeah. You know, he's like, oh, here, no, I'll give. The man came with a book bag full of zip drives with thumb drives.
That's right.
Here, you can have it.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's the way you get your name out. Bring me a thumb drive. I'm going to plug it in my computer. I'm going to download it. With me, if you come to the cafes, I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to download it. I'm going to listen to it. And then I'm going to email you. Hey, man, you need to do this on your track, or you need to do that on your track. Because DJ's got good ears. We might not be producers in the studio making the music, but we're playing it, so we know what the quality should sound like.
Yeah, and there's one event in Philly, Warehouse on Watts. They have an event called Hidden Gems. I'm considering possibly doing it, but I'm not so sure. It's like local artists, local producers who kind of get together and perform, and they play out their tracks.
That would be awesome.
However they like to do it. And, you know, just hopefully get a crowd there and for them to listen, whatever, regardless of genre. Because, you know, Warehouse on Watts, despite me going there, usually on, you know, during some kind of house or techno kind of event, like when I was there for Josh Wink, during his birthday bash, and or, you know, Pleasure Craft, and all the artists who I admire that I listen to, and as well as me performing that one time. I'm so honored to still play that place, and I felt very grateful for that. But anyway, they have it's an event called Hidden Gems. If you are a local producer, artist, whatever, what have you, you have to be in the Philadelphia area or nearby.
Damn, you know, that puts us out.
Well, either way, you have options. But again, you do have to network. So you do have to travel. So why not do both?
Network.
Here, in Dover, Delaware, and or in Philly, and or wherever else you can kind of promote yourself, you know, to that degree. Gotcha.
Well, I got a big announcement that I make to these DJs tonight. I see a few of them running in.
Oh, they're running in right now?
We got some time. How much time we got left?
No, I think not the time we have left. I think we're about an hour, 8 minutes in.
Oh, there you see. We got it going on. But, I mean, Eric, shout out to you for doing this.
Hey, thank you, man.
You know,
appreciate it.
I met you through the cafe coming down here, and this guy's great. I appreciate being on the show.
No problem.
It's an honor.
Yeah. Do you have any?
Thank
you. Do you have any promos or anything like that? Kind of
just support your local DJs, man. You know, if you're coming up and you want to come out, just there's chapters all over you know, throughout the East Coast. On the West Coast, there's a few. There's one out in the Midwest. Check us out on the old intraweb, international
the
DJ, the webs, internationaldjcafe.com. Social media platforms, of course, International DJ Cafe on Facebook, Instagram. I think he's on Twitter now too. Yeah, check it out, man. There's a cafe come around everywhere. We got a big announcement for a show coming up here sometime this summer. So it's gonna be a big event.
Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. So let's put it live here first on your podcast. So
sure.
Red Bull does 3Style where they have that show and, they do the DJ showcase type deal. Well, we're going to kind of do something like that, but we're going to do 3 DJs on a team DJing with one setup. So for the people that aren't DJs that don't know, it'll be one set of 1200s, 2 1200s and a mixer, and all 3 play off of that one setup. A lot of times you'll see DJs where I'm on one setup, another DJ's on a setup, and there's another setup. No. This will be one set of 1200s with 3 DJs all playing together, kind of like what you would call a round robin. So we just put it live on your show first before my guys even know anything about it.
There you go.
There you go. You're gonna want to come see this. If you like music, you're gonna want to come down here and see this show.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see and to hear the first one.
Oh, I can't wait.
I can't wait.
And hopefully, if everything goes good with this first event, we'll do another one next year.
Yeah. Just keep it rolling.
Keep it going.
Yeah, man. I think we'll end it at there. Steve, DJ6.
Thank you.
Mr. Montsch.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming out. Thank you for spending a little bit of your time with me.
Oh, no problem, man. It's an honor, like I said.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's a wrap on episode 5 of Include with Xclude podcast. The next one's I guess coming around the corner. I'm not quite sure when. But regardless, the guest I'm gonna have is just gonna be just as good as the one I featured here today.
I appreciate it.
Everybody's equal, in that regard.
Yeah, in music we're all equal.
Yeah, man.
I don't care if you're a Tiesto or a bedroom DJ.
Yeah.
In my eyes, we're all DJs and we're all equal.
We'll leave it at that, folks. I'm gonna play with this little effect thing and kind of like crush us out,
Yeah.
just like that.